Welcome to HR Tips and Tricks. This is a continuation of our series, Meaningful Conversations. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Ms. Sheba, an accomplished professional with a wealth of experience in the field of business and technology. As a dynamic leader with strong presence on LinkedIn, Sheba has built an impressive career specializing in project management, strategic planning, and team leadership. Her extensive background and insightful perspectives make her a valuable voice in the industry. And we are truly excited to delve into her journey, learnings, and the impact she continues to make in the field. Welcome, Sheba.
Thank you, Richa. I must say that was a very, very heartwarming introduction about me. I've never read about myself so much. Before we get into the question, I just want to say a quote. Confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. And as my faith continues, the recorded Bible, it says, so do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded and you need to persevere. So with that note, we can start.
That's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. So Sheba, one of your favorite lines is, perfection is not a small thing, but small things lead to perfection. So could you please help our viewers explore this and apply this principle for their professional growth and for driving organizational goals?
Sure. All of us would have heard certain things, right? You need to do this right. You need to follow a process. So I always like the statement, perfection is not a small thing, but small thing leads to perfection. If you're talking from a professional environment, all of us understand that employee morale is one thing that we all do, like a survey, right? And as HR professionals, everybody will have a KPI that if you had scored 75%, you need to make it 80%. How does that 5% increase come? Not just by doing some birthday cake cuttings or just having some gatherings or activities around your festival. But if you look at having regular connects, like, you have a planned huddle, either it could be for all the new mothers in your team. It could be for women returning back from pregnancy or from a long break, or they've taken a sabbatical, or for the new, freshly people whom you recruited from the campus. You streamline certain things, you do the things that you have to do. Sometimes it might sound boring and monotonous, but at the end of the day, you will get the desired result. You don't have to break a sweat. And my famous example is I love to bake, Richa. So baking a cake is something which I really do often. And all of us know it's the same ingredients, right? It's the same measure. But the way you do it, the precision, the timing of the oven, the way that you've sourced the ingredients makes your cake tasty. And that is all small things. So that's how I look at life, whatever it is. We talk about health. For health, all of us know, right? We need to do 10 minutes of meditation, half an hour of brisk walking, look at your diet, etc., etc. How many of us do follow that?
True. So I'm so glad that you have demystified engagement. Mostly people think, most HR professionals look at employee engagement as a celebration, but the way you talk about it, it's really impactful.
Thank you so much.
And remind me to have your cake when I'm in Mumbai next.
Definitely, please do. You're most welcome.
Okay. So Shiva, you pride yourself in being yourself. Yeah. So in an organizational context, please share with us how you retain this you, in the face of diversity of thoughts, actions, ethnicity, demographics.
Thank you for asking that question. It is very close to my heart. In today's world, all of us do not have dearth for knowledge. We are not deprived of knowledge. Any data, you Google, you go to Wikipedia, you can get any content, everything is readily available. But being your authentic self is something all of us miss, right? We've heard your WhatsApp mantra say, bring positivity, be your authentic you. How do you do that? I'm a person who likes to talk my thoughts out, whether it is to my boss, to my peer. to my housekeeping lady or to the security guard who wishes me every day good morning. What do I tell them? That I'm the head of HR, you didn't wish me today? No. Probably I might have to talk in my native language to find out if he didn't turn up for a day, what happened. That's all that he needs to hear from me. So ma'am knows that I'm coming to office every day. Likewise, in a professional environment, all of us understand we get into forums, in different meetings, and we are in different grades and designation. And all the thought that we have is, my boss will say that. Then why are you present for the meeting? If somebody has called you, there is a purpose, there is a meaning, you will have to decode that. Whatever little that you are doing, probably I'm the person who only presents the report. And I'm called in for a meeting where they're analyzing data, headcount, they're trying to see whether we can optimize, we can reduce headcount, how do we send people? So me being me will definitely have my turn, and I will say, I understand that all of you are talking. I would want to know what is the end goal that you want to receive. From 100, you want to bring it to 60 or 70. Having asked that question, my next plan should be saying, if you're talking about 60, we're already at 100. We can upskill these people, or we can cross-skill them across the units, or we can give them additional training for the work that is coming. We can open up the job opportunities across locations. Out of the 30, 50% might take it, well and good. And the other 50 might say, no, I don't want to do this. They might leave on their own. Then you're left with your optimal number. Again, it is small things, but for that, I need to have my data. I need to be the subject matter expert. And I shouldn't go about saying, hey, you're doing a wrong calculation. You all should know. When I say being you need to understand where you're placed and how you're talking. I think all the Vedas also talk about that. And one of the main things is, though I'm a Christian, I like the Gita Upadesam, which Krishna did for Arjuna. I know that Arjuna was a very astute warrior, right? But he still had to listen to somebody. So like that, sometimes listen to your inner mind. Your gut tells you the truth, and always do that. You will be the best person in the group.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. So one thing I could really hear as you were talking was having your heart in the right place, the example that you shared. Beautiful. And now, Sheba, something, which is very close to my heart, the proverbial glass ceiling. So please help us understand what it means. And please share your experiences, with this glass ceiling. How did you overcome it?
Glass ceiling is all that I think over the years, too much of data has also gotten to us, right? If I join as a programmer, or probably let me start with developer, programmer, programming manager, I am so caught up with my designation. If I'm not getting the designation and the remuneration, then I'm not doing good. But all of us forget one thing. The person who invented the light bulb, he did not do 1,000 different things, right? He did the same thing. Probably he was missing one thing. He went on to do it again and again and again. He didn't come back and say, after the 50th time, I've hit the glass ceiling, now I can't find it. His perseverance made him go. So like that, in a professional environment, you might be a team manager. You're aspiring to move into the senior management, and somehow you're not able to get that breakthrough. But you're very good in execution and implementation. Project management is something like your forte. It comes like the back of your palm. So look out for opportunities. Every organization has umpty number of opportunities. It's just that we don't want to open our eyes because it's too much work. It's more work than our 9-hour slot that we want to do. If you look out for that, volunteer to do that for at least 3 months, people will look up to you and you'll get an opportunity coming your way. I can tell a classic example from my career. I'm from the operations background. I started my career as a help desk executive. Somebody calls you and you pick up the phone and you say, good morning, Marysheeba here. How can I help you? So from there, I've moved on to be a HR leader. Many a times in the operation environment, I was the operation manager, but somehow I was not making it to the next level for whatever reasons. Then I was looking at, and then I volunteered to streamline the training, learning, and development team. All of us know that we have a mandate, right? Apart from your process training, every organization vows to teach you 6 man days, 8 man days. How do we achieve it? They put a lot of trackers, everything, and at the end of the day, we call it. So that team is going through a lot of stir like this, and every forum they will come and they will never achieve whatever they were supposed to. So I volunteered with that team. I sat with them to understand. I went around to each department, gathering their requirements, how I can cluster them, how we can have batches. And we achieved that number within 6 months, I guess, in Scope International, where I was an operations manager. So our mandate was 6 man-days of learning. It's not just 6 days. So which means a week and one more day, apart from your process learning. With that, over my career, today as a head of HR, you know that I have to look into training and development. If I did not have that experience today, I might not be calling the right shot, the right vendor, the right partner, the right audience for my training. So every little thing will only aid you, but you need to be willing to give yourself that time and don't be harsh on yourself.
Yeah, this is very inspiring, and it shows the way that everybody has a place where they can go. So thank you for this. Shiba, you have been an advocate for inspiring women and creating a safe workplace. So could you share some of the initiatives or practices that you have initiated to support this?
Okay. That's again another area of my, I would say, very close to my heart. I'm very passionate. Being a woman, the first thing is safety at workplace. And today we hear so many instances which actually breaks your heart, rips your heart, questions the system. So I always tell to everybody in every organization that I've worked, making the environment and the workplace safe is not only for the management or the security, it is for me also. If I'm willing to do a night shift, I need to know what all support I need in the first place. If I'm as a manager, we do night shifts, right? I've worked with organizations where we were giving 24/7 support. So there was no discrimination. You're a woman, okay, I will not give you night shift. No, it has to be rostered. Everybody will come through it.
Okay.
And we just didn't do it till the executive level. What we did also, Richa, was we ensured that the manager also will come in that respective shift. Why the manager only has a family and the executive doesn't have a family, is it? Or the executive couldn't have a newborn baby that he or she wants to take care and only me? Why the privilege? We are called to play the different roles for a different purpose. That doesn't make us eligible to ward away certain things. So to start with, as a manager, I was always with the team. I always used to find out what is it that we need. Do we have sufficient admin staff on the ground? Because night shifts means we will never have an admin. We will never have a HR. We will never have the number of housekeeping or the security. Why night shift people will do everything by themselves, right? No. So you have to push that. And that is a cost, Richa. Nobody's going to take you for that. But you will have to tell them, if 100 people are working, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, please do it. First time people might boo you, might say, what nonsense are you talking? Just because you're coming in the night shift, all this cannot change. But you will have to do that. That's from a physical arrangement part of it. But as a manager, always be open to listen. So the normal thing that everybody does is, Richa, to create a WhatsApp group, to create a mail ID, common mail ID. All of us know we have an ombudsperson in every organization. How many mails do they reach out to that? We have a grievance cell. How many of us walk into that cell? The moment we walk into that cell, everybody knows that, okay, she has a grievance. Now we have to find out what it is. That is not a safe environment. Be there with the team, whoever it is. So I was, over the years, as an operations, and I moved into HR, into different roles. As a HR business partner, I will have certain teams that I have to take care. But what I always do is, Richa, however busy my schedule is, I will do a flow walk. I'll go say hi to everybody on the floor. I will tell that I'm Marysheeba. If you do not know me, I sit here. You want any doubt? It could be from any part of the team. Please approach me. I can put you onto the right person. You have a grievance, walk up to me. I'm not here to collect gossip, but I can give you a solution. Credibility you need to build, whoever you are, whether you're a HR personnel, as a manager, because they confide in you. That data is not to be sold. That data is not to be told in any other forum, which is not relevant. If somebody I'm talking to Richa today. Richa comes back and says, Shiba, today is not my best of days. So that day as a manager, I should not pound Richa with a lot of work, because she's already told me it's not her best of days. So give her some light work. We can all do that, but it takes a lot of planning. So I've always been an advocate. I've always raised in the forums that I go that safety is definitely important. And I also educate people. I just don't go talk once and I create awareness. What is safety to me? What is safety to me? Coming safely in the transport and going back. So are my cab drivers registered? Does my admin have all the cab driver numbers? Why are they asking my number? Is the proper routing system happening on a regular basis? Do an audit, not every 3 months, 6 months. All of us are managers or profiles where we can do. Most of the time, you know what we do, the mistake that we all do is, that's not my job. That's admin job. If that is admin job, admin only will take care of your safety till for 16 hours in the day. The remaining you will have to take care. Is that okay? So you need to, like how we all talk, right? We just celebrated independence. Independence is a responsibility. It is for every citizen to own it up. Whether I'm walking on the street, it is a responsibility for me, from the cleaning of the street to the, I'm not saying everybody take a broom and go clean. No, don't throw waste, no, which will enable the other person to do the job. So it's all interconnected. So safety just doesn't happen from one team, but you have to play that part and play it effectively.
So today you reminded me of a meeting I attended in 2012, you know, when you said that it's not that only the manager has a family and the associate doesn't. So those were the early days of diversity and inclusivity coming in. There was a presentation that was being made. So somebody there suggested that let's give more flexibility to women. So our CHRO, he came back and he said, why? Aren't men dads too?
Yeah.
So, you know, this notion of being inclusive and fair to everyone, I really appreciate what you shared with us.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, Sheba, in today's fast-paced corporate world, you know, how do you maintain your focus and avoid distractions?
Well, I'm not here to say that, you know, Richa, I am laser focused every day, sharp focus. No, I get distracted. And my distraction is very, very like, you know, somebody has to walk into my day and say, you're looking very pretty. You're doing this good and all that. And you've made my day and I can relax for 10 minutes and I have to come back. But I have to tell you one thing, that all of us need somebody like a mentor or a leader whom we all look up to. It may not be in your own organization, but somebody who has always inspired you. So have leaders like Abdul Kalam, who's inspiring and reading and all that. I've not read so much, though I love to read, not as a voracious reader, and I don't want to compare. But I do have a mentor. So what we do is my mentor is also my childhood friend. And so it's like, you know, we know each other's actions to the core. So if I'm relaxing, I'm reluctant, he will know what's happening around that. Okay. So Christmas, December month, I am totally out of action, Richa. I will not commit on major projects. I will not commit on anything that I have a deadline to do in the month of December, unless it is very, very critical, which I will definitely organize and finish it by November 30th. And the next month is my birthday month, which is May. Again, I will relax a little bit. So I know the months of the year where I'm going to go a little slack, but he'll always come back to me. And we kind of do, it might sound a little, they're sounding very professional, but we do kind of a pit stop check with each of us. How well did we perform well? So if it is a performance rating between friends, so we will come back and say, you did not achieve, you did not meet expectation, you lagged over here. Though it is funny, we go back and say, what is it that we want to achieve at the end of the day? All of us have extended families and we come from a very little conservative background only. So it is not that, okay, you do what you want. At the end of the day, our actions definitely relate to the children or the next generation. What is it that I'm transpiring to them through my work? Am I making my work my God, or what is it that I'm trying to do? And I always have this very, very simple mantra. If you're not feeling well today, Richa, I tell my maid, please don't cook. You're having a bad day, don't cook. Because the sambar or the dal might not taste as it is. You can tell us, we can order food one day. The next day, but better you come and make a nice kurma and give it. It is, all of us go through that. And all of us know, if somebody could come and tell us that assuring word, right? When you come into a team and you find 10 of them not very cheerful in the morning, I ask, what happened? What's going wrong? Is it the climate? Is something bothering you? Imagine a fellow worker comes into the office and says that, you know, my child is sick, but you asked me to come. I think that's the most cruelest thing you want to do. It's okay. Ask him to take off. You can take that load. It's not that bad. We don't do so many things in a day. But distraction, after he comes back, allow him to do. Always have a checklist. And I do have a checklist, Richa. It could be weekly, it could be monthly. Most of the times I meet, I don't meet. That's perfectly fine. But do I have something written it down? And if I just get distracted, couple of days happily went out, spent, shopped, everything, then I come back and I look at my to-do list, you will know what to do. But for the younger generation, which is trying to start their career, you need to be laser focused. Out of 365 days, 300 days, you definitely have to focus. Whether you like it, you don't like it. Otherwise, it will not take you to the next step. It's not easy as writing your exam, right? You wouldn't have learned the entire year, but that previous night you could mug up certain lines and go do. Job will not allow you to do that because every simple thing that you would have learned somewhere is what you're going to present at the final, the presentation. If I have a presentation today, I could have done a fantastic PowerPoint, right? Using AI, chatbot, whatever, brilliant. But if I don't articulate that, what will my audience think? So everything counts. So distraction is there. It is good sometimes because it definitely brings you back, but don't get drowned in distractions is what I would say.
True. And this is very true about youngsters or people starting out in their career. And, I see it very clearly. Some of the people are so extremely focused, and then, the way for them is a rapid progression. And there are others who say, yeah, work is part of my life. And then those are the results you get, when work is part of your life. So this is wonderful. So, Sheba, you handled very large teams, and the very fact that you moved from operations to HR is a living testament that you are an excellent leader. So, we are very keen to know that how do you manage and lead teams, especially in challenging situations? And, what advice would you give to aspiring leaders, about taking ownership and courage in their roles?
To start with, when you want to be acknowledged as a leader, so there's a transition. You become a manager, then you become a boss, then you become a leader. Though this is not written, cast in stone like your performance management cycle, these are stages that you will go through. As a manager, you might have been promoted. So first you have to look at acceptance from your team. Is she really worth being the manager? So which means if your team is running at a particular speed, you need to be more than that. So for example, if they're running at 100 kilometers, you better be running at 150, 170. Otherwise, they're not going to accept. And acceptance is just not having a biryani fest and say, hey, I'm your manager, I'm the cool lady on the floor. No, because you will have hard deadlines. You will have to have those difficult conversations. You have to call up a team member and say, hey, you have not performed, and this is where we stand. However, having said that, I can give some 3 key tips which every leader can definitely follow. First is be a subject matter expert of whatever you do. It could be the simplest thing. Okay, I am very good at Excel. When I say Excel, I'm not talking about advanced Excel. I know how to read an Excel, how to do a pivot, get my data sorted. I might be good. Repeatedly do that because that will help you when you go and talk in forums to have those key things. And the second thing is, which all of us, after a period of time or the gradual progression or number of years of experience, we shy away from learning. We think, hey, I've learned it. What are you asking me to learn? And definitely pick up, which is not your comfort zone at all. Okay, as I keep telling, Excel is not my comfort zone. Okay? Excel, I know I can download, do a pivot table, etc., etc. You ask me to do a VLOOKUP, I might be like, rattling with it as if it's the most Herculean task. However, I had to, in this current stint where I am, I had to coach a team for advanced BI and advanced Excel and Power BI. So first I have to go through the content because I'm the head of HR. I have to sign so I better read. So I prepared actually 1 week with the trainer. What is the content? What is it that they're going to talk? When they present it as a project, I should know it. So that was not my comfort zone, but I did it because one, my role asked, and today I'm comfortable with it. So never shy away from learning because that helps you wherever it will go. And it is okay if you fail.
Yes.
It is okay if it didn't work out well. Okay, all of us should remember not to belittle anybody. We are not always launching a rocket. Okay, we are dealing with people, and people are the most complex creatures that God has ever created. I cannot duplicate a DNA. I cannot do anything. So every day the mood and the swings and the environment keeps changing. It is very, very diverse. It is very agile. If somebody is talking about agile technology, we are the most agile creatures actually. So it is okay. Something did not happen. Let's focus on, instead of focusing on who spilled the milk, you shouldn't have done that. You should have been in that place. Yes, we have to look at that because that will aid us to do some course correction. How do we take it forward? If I had to deliver something by Monday and today I am not even halfway through, let's pull up our socks. We have another 36 hours and we can make a change. Let's do that. That's how you will break it up. And always be authentic. It is okay if I do not know certain things. I don't have to know everything. My team member might know something which I do not know. So I say, wow, I've learned that. I write it down. And I say, okay, I learned it from you. Tomorrow I will remember. When I go to a meeting, this I learned from. That is okay to give the credit to anybody. You don't have to have it all. Okay, this is a nice saying, right? You cannot have the cake and eat it all, right? You'll have to share it. My mom has taught me sharing in different forms, and so it is okay. So the three things you bring to your table, people will look up to you as a leader. They will vouch for you. They will stand by you during difficult times. We've gone through COVID. We've gone through what do you call, the storms and the tsunamis and everything. We all had worked from home. We all understand that we are not in a very Western environment, right? Each of us gets a room for herself, connectivity. No, we're all a very Indian family in one house. Imagine during COVID, if four of us were working, the husband, wife, and the child is in college and one child is doing project. How many corners do you have in your house to go sit down and take a call? So when the mother is speaking, and if the father also has to be in a boardroom discussion, imagine the conversation, right? We've gone through that. We've had a teacher, my colleague's wife was a teacher, and during a morning meeting was when she was teaching maths. So during those three, I think 1 year, we've all learned algebra. If given a paper, we all would have scored 100 out of 100. Seriously. So when she is, because when he's talking, we can definitely hear the background voice. We cannot ask her to shut up, right, for half an hour. That is inclusivity. Inclusivity need not only be with the gender, your originality. No, we all come from different parts of the same country. I come from deep south, you're from north. Definitely there would be something which is common, Richa, for us. And we need to find out. Take the time. Life is a journey. We will enjoy it. So as a leader, I have crisis. I have things to focus. Today, when I'm talking to you, I have at the back of my mind, that project I need to close, this approval has not come through, my HQ is not reporting, all that is there. But still, if I have 6 team members, I need to talk to them. So that will enable them to be the true leader. And transition can happen just like that. Nobody will realize that you've transitioned.
Yeah, I found this example particularly very heartening, that your colleague was speaking and his wife was teaching maths in the background and you accepted it, So I think leadership is a lot about being an evolved human being, it seems, right? And the other thing that resonated with me very well was learning. So I call myself a serial learner. I'll finish one course, and as I'm doing that course, I'll tell myself, now you will not sign up for anything else because I know the pains of going through a certification. And before I know it, I've signed up again. So I have an exam, my PCC certification on 2nd. So, but what you said made sense, that next 36 hours I can study and...
That happens to all of us, right? As we grow, the responsibility comes. So my mentor used to say, all that I have to do is sign up for a course and you will know the amount of money spent. So you will do all your full vigor and clear it. Because I feel very guilty if I'm not clearing it, which I don't see in the younger generation. I always tell them, whatever it could be. You like baking, you like cooking. Today, every industry is good. Do it with precision, do it with 100% passion. You will reach whatever goal you want to.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, so I know you're very passionate about social causes. So how do you integrate it in your life, your corporate life and your need to work for social causes?
One, I should always credit it to my upbringing, Richa. From my younger days, we've been taught that we have to share. If I have 3 things, I have to give away one, whether I like it or not. That was at a very younger age when you don't want to share your pencils and your color pencils, etc. Also, what we have learned is that we had to do something. Like, for example, in our church, we used to have an annual festival kinds. So everybody cooks or brings something from the house, they sell it to the people in the church, and they give it as an offertory. So as a young kid, that's how I got into baking. What would I do? And something innovative was always my passion. So I used to bake a cake, and I go around everybody asking them to hold the cake and tell me the weight of it. So once they tell me, I'll find out whoever the winner. So 10 rupees per person. So I would have collected the amount. And then I'll go to the same uncle and auntie because they come to our church, right? I said, Uncle, you yourself want to eat the cake. Why don't we auction it? We'll get better price. And all of us can share the cake. Auctioned it, more money, eaten, done. And I would give more amount. So my mom used to say, okay, fine, good job. So that was how I thought that, there are always lesser fortunate people. And over the years, Richa, I think the way that I have worked with a lot of causes, one is for the women, if I have to say women who have been trafficked and how we upskill them. I worked with a couple of NGOs. And then I worked with a couple of NGOs. This is all while I'm in my career doing something else. We've also educated children of daily wage laborers who go for building and all. So the children, we bring them to a school, we give them one meal, we teach them. So not everybody has sufficient funds to run it. So you need to source and you need to see how you can keep connected. That being said, when we moved into corporate and we talk about corporate social responsibility, it was easier for me to go back and explain to my employees because we all spend 12 hours in a day in the office. That becomes like your second home. And what as an organization does also imply you because you have a part in it. So whether we are collecting wheat and rice and giving it to people who are afflicted with floods, etc., or we look after mentally challenged people and the products that they bring and how we buy them, or we also do this writing for people who cannot see, for the blind. You become the exam writers, right? So I was able to source all that within my team itself. So if I have about 1,000 employees, at least 20%, I would have ensured that they do some activity. Then I would encourage one team, one leader to go to some village, plant trees and come make it a day out. I will give you all the niceties. I will give you a nice biryani. I will give you a lot of snacks. I will ensure that you're carted safely. You have fun time, but then at the end of the day, the work is done. So that I always keep telling, some way or the other, always do that. And to start with, everything starts with a spark. Always treat everybody equal, whether it is your housekeeping, your security, the person who serves you tea, the person who comes and provides, puts the water can. He is not doing that because he's destined to do that. Nobody gave him the opportunity that you and I had. Probably, if my housekeeping lady was given the same opportunity like me, she might be a better HR leader. Let's accept it. I am definitely not a saint, but this is something which I have practiced. And that embraces a lot of inclusivity. Their children do PGs, present PhD papers, they come and tell you. And that joy swells your heart, Richard, compares to nothing that anything can actually bring it. It definitely makes me emotional, but I've been there, I've done that with them, and I've seen their tears. As a testimony, I can say the maid, the cook who worked in our house for about 15 plus years, we educated her child from, I think, from second standard. She finished nursing and she's a nurse in Qatar or Oman somewhere. My driver's child, we ensured that he studied in Don Bosco and he finished college and he's working right now. So when they come home and they say, Auntie, this was possible, I think that is what. So I go back and I keep telling everybody that whenever, wherever possible.
And this whole thing of, being able to give opportunities. Now, this was way back, and my manager's driver, he came to me and he said that, ma'am, I want to do something extra because when I come with sir, I'm sitting outside the whole day. And I started giving him a little bit of work in HR operations. And today, and he really lived up to it. He could have sat outside with all the other drivers gossiping. And today he is at a reasonably senior position in HR. And there are similar stories, where you give somebody, there's somebody, his parents used to clean houses, and he's an entrepreneur today. But again, the opportunity and the willingness of the person who's given the opportunity to make the most of it. There are also cases where you send a child to school, but underprivileged child, but the child doesn't want to study. So there are all these
Yes,
things.
we will have to accept that. So we actually do not know, Richa, which will turn out. It is just that you have an opportunity, try it. If it fails, that's what I'm saying. When it fails, it fails. Okay, we move on. But I shouldn't shun away saying that, okay, well, I did for one child, it failed. I'm not going to do for the other child. No, you do not know which is a gold mine that you're hitting on.
No, and it's very rewarding. Like you rightly said, when I look at such people, it's very rewarding. And Shiba, so back to here and now, we would be very keen to understand what is the strategic direction that you are taking in your organization in terms of integrating AI with different aspects of HR.
See, integration of AI, having AI in all your tasks is something which is actually the talk, or every organization is trying to get it. The current organization that I work with, the kind of volume that we do is not that much for us to integrate AI, though we understand that, yes, it will definitely pave a way. It will make things a lot more radical and reasonable to look at when I'm taking a suggestion. But I would like to state this. See, for in the aspect of HR, there's always this question, right? Will AI replace HR and all that? So what I would also like to say is AI in HR is not replacing human workers, but enhancing the capabilities. Because all of us, we take millions of decisions the entire day. From the time we wake up, do I need to have my coffee before I have that fenugreek water, or after that? It's the smallest decision. Then I go on to, okay, breakfast. I'm not hungry. I will skip breakfast. But at 11:30, I crave for a croissant or a cake. I see something floating by. So there are a lot of decisions. So when it comes to human resources department, we deal with another human being, and there are a lot of variable factors. So if you have an AI which will generate and give you certain amount of data for clarity for you to take the appropriate decision.
Yeah.
I always say that the HR is the right arm for a CEO or a CEO of an organization. He will definitely have the capability to take a decision, but as a HR, you need to bring the other aspect to him. For that, you need to have a lot of data, and that data AI will do. But in my current stint, we are not there yet, Richa. We will be there in some time. But I urge that there are a lot of tools and things which you try out, depending on the size and the magnitude of the work that you're doing. There are a lot of mandatory tasks that we do in HR, from a form filling, from data collection to go in and everything. You can definitely use, and it will reduce that, that manual intervention time and give you something to think more about it. Classic example, when all of us had mobiles and everything came on the app, the first thought was that I'm going to save time. But today it has eaten your time. That's a different debatable topic. I'm not getting there. But it did save some of the mundane, monotonous tasks. The same thing AI will definitely do. And I've seen it, and I've also tested for certain chatbots. So I'm very happy. It will take some time for me to introduce it in my current organization.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Depending on how organizations are going to use AI, they are going to use AI to serve them, like your chat GPT, or to lead you, So there's this organization that has a humanoid CEO. So I don't know. So that's a fair balance. Let's see how it plays out and how it's regulated. Shiba, another thing that we are very keen to know is that how do you address mental health issues in employees? What mechanisms do you have in place, and how does it serve you? Because Gen Z, that's going to be, everybody now, most of the people, I was reading a survey. Many of the newer employees prefer to join an organization where they have mental health resources, and most of them stay back only if there are mental health resources. So.
Yeah. So to start with, I've been a wellness ambassador in my previous organizations. One, that because I thought wellness is definitely something very, very integral. Because if you are not your full self today, you will not be able to do the things that you want to passionately do. You will not be able to be yourself at most of the things, and you will get into a shell. So wellness is definitely, and today, as you rightly said, Richa, mental wellness is definitely being spoken, being debated, being consulted. And depending on the size of the organization, there are a lot of wellness ambassadors or mental counselors who also come. First and foremost, we in India, we have to create the awareness, because for us, if I'm saying a person is mentally ill, there is a taboo. whatever said and done, I might have the Gen Z also, but we definitely have a taboo. We are not going to accept a person whom we think that is mentally ill. So first create that awareness, and that could be done. And you have numerous organizations which come forward to do that. Understand how well mental healthy your organization is. There are a few questions which you ask. Okay, it's like a survey. So when you do that, you will know, assess your organization. Depending on that, you can have an in-house counselor, or you can always say that this is a toll-free number, or because you're an employee of this organization, call them up. They're going to pick up the call and give you counseling. Having said that, I would always go to a Gen Z who asks me about, do I have a mental counselor? So I say, do you panic so much? Do you fret so much? That's only because of information, right? The moment today we get a fever, we all don't want to treat it as a normal fever. Is it flu? Is it viral? Is it COVID again? So the fear factor is there. Consider what you have eaten in the last 2-3 days and what could be the cause. It could be environmental. Wait for the fever. Give it 24 hours to know whether it is manifesting as a different thing. Even if you go take a blood test on the first day, it's not going to show you the results, which the doctor himself will say, please wait for 3 days. Right? But we don't want to wait patiently. And I always say, everybody has a level of irritation, frustration, tolerance, and perseverance. It's all a mix. Only when the numbers go up is when you show out your different colors. It is okay to be okay, but that doesn't mean because it's an office like at home, I will shut my door and go sit in a room. That cannot happen. It's an organization where you have other people. You're upset, you walk away, go to the coffee pantry, take a cup of coffee, sit by yourself. You can't close your door. You can't shut it. Learn the difference between. It is like you're hearing and listening. I am listening to you. Really? Then why aren't you answering me correctly? So listen it with your intent. Find what is the reason, what is causing you. And most of the time, Richa, I have been, as I said, in my previous organization, we had 2,000 employees in Chennai and Gurgaon. And we always used to do these. And I used to keep talking to them. Whenever I traveled to Gurgaon, I used to find out. I always ask them, what is your stress trigger? What triggers you? Is it your boss? You don't like your boss. You don't like the dress she wears. You don't like what she's trying to do, etc. What is the trigger? If we actually break it down, nothing would be there, Richa. Trust me on that. I've done that for at least quite a number of people. If you ask 5 whys to yourself, you will not get an answer. If you don't have an answer, then you're not mentally ill. However, as an organization, when we say that we have to take care of the health and safety of every employee, this definitely plays a critical part. But let's do a lot of activities so that we don't reach that critical part, is what I always advise. I could sound like an 18th century mother, but then yes.
No. This is sound advice. And Sheba, this issue is very important because 1 in every 5 individuals now is facing a mental challenge, whether it is anxiety or, a deeper level. So this becomes very important. So thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we're going to come back to you again with some more questions. And in the meanwhile, I would request all of you to subscribe to our channel, and you too, Shiva. We would like to see you on our subscription list. And thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Richa, for all the lovely questions. And I hope it was useful to the audience as well. All of you have a lovely day ahead. Thank you.